Oh, there we go.
Hey, we go.
Do these work?
Is anybody there? So we want to start off with something a little special just for MomoCon. If it loads.
We're gonna show you a black screen.
Yes.
It's our big plan.
So we've got a transmission from the Absolution right now.
So it's time to pull back the curtain and see what really makes Toonami tick. Live-ish from MomoCon. Here's the Toonami panel. Guess which one's me?
The guy who's not here.
So Steve's on his way. He's doing signing. And I think you guys all know Steve, right? Well, I'm your host, Chad Bonin. I'm on Twitter at Chad Bonin. I kind of hassled these guys to come out. So I'm not important, but these guys are. These guys make Toonami. So if you want to go down the table, if you guys want to say who you are, what you do, how you got involved.
Sure. I'm Jason DeMarco. I do a lot of things for Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, but I run Toonami along with these guys, and I got involved in 1996 when Sean Akins was hired to make a cartoon block for an action cartoon block for Cartoon Network, and asked for my help, and we came up with Toonami. So that's how I got started. Gil? Thank you.
I'm Gil Austin. I started as an intern for Cartoon Network in '96 for Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and Sean Akins and I actually went to the same high school, but we didn't know it because he's a couple years older than I am. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Why don't you give me a job?" And he did. So I started as a PA there, and right before the launch in March '97. And that was the only job I ever had. And have it again.
All right, my name is Johnny Ray. I started working on Toonami in '98, I think, back then. I'm an editor there. I cut, since '98, I've been cutting, all the promos, not all of them, but a lot of the promos and the music videos and bumps and all that kind of stuff. I was working at CNN before that, and I knew Sean, I knew Jason, and they were telling me about this show they were starting or whatever, so they finally brought me over. I quit CNN and been working for these guys since.
I'm Sarah. I'm another editor over at Toonami. I've been there since 2002. I was working at another post house kind of as an edit assist and just learning my chops, and they hired me away and just got me working there, and I've been there ever since, and it's great. And I do all of just the promos and the music videos and all that kind of stuff. Johnny and I just trade off all the various things. Got to be made to.
Yay! We turned her into a killing machine. That's what she does now. She kills.
And you did the music video last night.
She did. We showed a music video last night, and Sarah was the person who came up with the whole thing and found all the clips. It was entirely her. So, round of applause for her.
All right, so as you know, we took questions on the website, and for people who just can't make it to the con. So, go through a few of those right now. So, how does the Absolution fly in space? Is it battery powered, fuel, gas? Thank you, from Anonymous.
I never know how to answer those questions because we thought about it. Like, we think about it when we write things. We want it to be somewhat of a science fiction world, but I'll be honest, we don't think that hard about it. Like, we're not like what is powering the Absolution? But we did at one point, and still feel that it's a nuclear reactor.
And love.
And love, yes. Love is that fuel is hard to get. Hate is easier to get. But no, a nuclear reactor is what powers. Oh, look who's late! Look who showed up. There he is.
I'm sorry, I'm tardy.
But now we're here.
Start over.
Oh, you did? Oh, wow. I missed everything, man. Good morning.
Good morning. So yeah, that's Absolution is powered by a nuclear reactor would be the short answer. I don't know how it propels itself through space, but it's super futuristic.
With the power of awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, so, we're taking questions from the internet that people can't get here. And this one, especially for you, Steve.
Oh.
From Thundermaster258. What was
That's a
your
manly name.
There are 257
I like it already.
Masters before him.
Yeah, I believe that.
He's the 258th Thundermaster born today. What was your reaction when you were asked to come back for April Fools?
I said, do I really have to? No.
Again.
No, I squeed. I was a fangirl. I was an 8-year-old fangirl again. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it was actually happening. I thought they were playing April Fools on me at first. So no, I was amazed and excited, and I just couldn't believe that I had the opportunity to at least do it one more time. I didn't know what was coming after that, but.
And then when the relaunch came, how was that?
I think I wet myself a little. In the best possible way.
You don't let someone else.
Yeah. I may have wet someone else. I don't know. I can check. This went south so fast.
Don't judge.
I'm sure they were really nice and cordial and very professional. And
We're on Adult Swim now.
And then Steve got there.
yeah, that's right. That's right. You started it, though, dude.
And so another question from the internet, from Anonymous. Did you guys ever feel any hype or any type of pressure in working on Toonami when you knew it was so loved and cherished by so many, many people?
I can only speak for myself, but maybe Gil might want to talk about it too. I mean, we worked on it for like 11 years, and some of it was really a lot of fandom on the internet, and then a lot of it was in there were boards and stuff, but you really had to kind of search it out, and it was nowhere near what it is now with all the different social media platforms for people to talk about it. So we knew that there were Toonami fans because we did, drawing things where we would broadcast people's drawings, and we would get flooded with mail. So we knew that we were resonating with kids, but I think even after we went off the air, we never really knew how much it mattered to a lot of people. And I think what happened on April Fools was as much of a surprise to us as it was to everyone else. We were just like, whoa, it's like people like this shit. So it wasn't, it was very gratifying to us, and it was definitely a surprise. I mean, would you agree?
Yeah, I wouldn't say pressure, but it was definitely more just disbelief that people still cared, let alone would still want it. Like, that would remember is, okay, I guess you would remember, but would actually enjoy it was just sort of mind-boggling.
It's a part of a lot of people's childhood. I would
Yeah,
say.
it was definitely fun, the April Fool's night, just staying up and watching it sort of happen online. Like, that was something we just wouldn't have been able to do the first launch.
Yeah.
We were
Dozens
texting
of
back and forth
school-age
to each other
children.
like, oh my god, we blew up Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I learned how to use Twitter that night. Literally, I stayed up all night and, oh my God!
Yeah. We never had the immediate, we've been to conventions and had people talk to us, but we never had immediate, live feedback, which is what we are getting used to now. It's like, you're awesome, you suck. You're awesome, you suck. So it's been, it's just different doing it now. It's not really pressure as much as there's definitely an open connection to the people that watch it, and I think that's honestly for the better, for sure. We don't have to wait 3 months later and go, oh, looks like nobody liked that, because it's dying.
I think my favorite thing is that you actually post a lot of the you suck stuff. And he'll retweet all the you suck stuff. It's amazing. That's the honesty of Toonami, baby.
Yeah, that cracks me up.
Yeah.
So how did it feel when, since you're on Adult Swim now, you got to let Tom get away with a few things that he couldn't back the cartoon?
I got to say, bitches.
We wrote some stuff for the April Fools, and it just didn't sound right. It was like, oh no, we can't say that.
Yeah.
But bitch is fine.
It became the cry of the generation. Toonami's back, bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, we knew that would be a good tagline and hashtag for Twitter, just because it was succinctly like, this isn't the same Toonami, but Toonami's back. And we still are a little careful about having Tom be self-consciously like, just like we try not to have Tom be self-consciously cool or hip or whatever, just who he is as a character. And we try not to have him be like, we wouldn't want him to be swearing every other word, and it just doesn't work.
I do that in my head, but.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's funny. I'll tell that one.
Yeah, go for it.
So early on, Steve is a very, very sweet man. So his initial, when we first started working with him, look at that guy, he's so lovable. When we first started working with him, he read everything sort of very like friendly. When we were first working with him on Toonami, he'd be like, "Hi, I'm Tom." Everything was super. So at some point we gave him the direction, just imagine you're saying the words "you at the end of every sentence. So now, whenever he reads, that's in his head.
It's so deeply ingrained. I do that with every other, communication in my life too. It's kind of surly, especially with my kids.
Good job on your report card.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we try not to have Tom go overboard with the swearing because we think that would just be kind of cheesy. But it is nice to have the freedom to be a little more loose with that than we were in Cartoon Network days.
Yeah, snark is always fun.
Yeah.
So God My O asked on Tumblr, I know you won't air series older than 96, 97, around that era, but would you consider airing older but awesome looking movies like Akira?
I mean, we would, for the most part, I think I've said it before, but it's kind of a truism. Old shows don't do as well on TV. Period. There's always your Seinfelds that break the mold, and so I would never say never, and I would never say no show could ever make it or no movie, but it would have to be one that it was worth. At the point at which it's something you think people are going to want to watch, it's probably still expensive. So I would never say never. But if you told me you could show a movie from a year ago or a new movie versus you could show Akira, which is a classic, but it's going to cost money and we're not sure if it would do as well as a brand new thing that we would like to show, it's sort of a tough thing to weigh. So it's not really a yes or no question. It never is in TV.
Yeah, I think about the time we got Robotech way back when, and we were all so excited. We're like, Robotech, yeah, so fun. And then it just didn't really do good. We were just like so bummed out that Robotech didn't do good and it had to leave. It was like, oh. It was a kind of a realization that, yeah, some of your favorite things just don't work in the network.
Yeah, or in the newer era.
Yeah.
But then Thundercats, that did.
Yeah, that did better. Back then the stakes were way lower for Toonami, so the show Old Bear had to just be breathing, and it was like, okay. People aren't actively changing their channel. We win, Eventually the stakes got a little higher.
Right. So that's it for the internet question. I got one question as host I get to ask, because I totally am pulling that card. So back in the day, was there any talk about the Tenchi movies or Sailor Stars? These long-run franchises.
Yeah, Sailor Stars was that was in that era of Toonami, that those decisions were completely out of our hands. Right. Obviously Sailor Moon did really well for us, and I think at one point it was looked into, but it's hard to, every show from working on so many has their own crazy complicated story, and rights issues in Japan are just nuts. There's like 5 different companies on average that fund a show. They hold rights for certain territories, and if you get one like crabby guy anywhere in that process, that can blow the whole thing. And then we weren't really in charge, so I honestly don't know Sailor Stars, like what. And as far as the Tenchi movies, we talked about the Tenchi movies, but I don't remember why we didn't. I think it was just because what the network saw was diminishing returns. What they felt was diminishing returns in Tenchi. It was like Tenchi Muyo they were like pleasantly surprised. Then Tenchi Universe did a little worse, and then Tenchi in Tokyo did a little worse. And I think by the time we were done with all the Tenchis as a network, they were kind of like, okay, we're moving on from Tenchi. It wasn't, and again, that wasn't really our decision. We like those movies, and I would say that's still a possibility of something you might see. We don't, obviously we're showing a sort of Tenchi now, but I mean, we still are down with Tenchi, so for better or worse.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go down here. If you guys have questions, go on line up at the mic.
Whoa, let's get some credits. All right.
Don't be shy.
And learning ensues.
Is that mic working? You can go ahead.
Hello. Yes.
Hello.
Hey guys. I just wanted to know what goes into deciding what shows that you put on the air.
I choose everything.
We call Steve. He
Yeah.
tells us what to do, and we do it.
Good plan.
No, that wouldn't be a good plan.
It's
You're talking about now, like what the process is?
Yeah.
It just sort of depends on the timing and the deal. It's more of like we have a wish list and we see how well that stacks up with their we'll give it to you list. And for the most part, that crosses over pretty well
Yeah.
with our limited ability to get shows. But it's definitely a process, and we have to keep pushing everybody to no, this totally be worth it, and then we just hope it will be.
Yeah, the head of programming at Adult Swim, Kim Manning, she is the person who deals directly with a lot of the anime distributors and the just show distributors. So a lot of times we'll sit down with her when we know a couple months out from a show ending, and we'll say, well, what do we got? Like, what's and it's literally a list from different distributors. Like, here's what's available as part of existing deals, or here's what we can afford. And then there's other shows that we may come up with and ask about, like, what about this? And we'll research those. And usually, as far as what type of show we would show and why we pick those, it's honestly mostly Gil and I and Kim, and sort of our feelings about what works for Toonami, what works for Adult Swim, what shows we like, what shows we think will do well, and what shows are cheap. So it's
Not
sort
necessarily in that order.
of yeah. So it's all kind of all of those things factor in, and then we and Kim make the decision, and then the head of Adult Swim, Mike Lazo, blesses it or tells us, I don't care, depending on the day. So. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I have two questions. The first is Tom action figures. We already got some stuff out of Robot Chicken. Is it a possibility?
Not right now. I wish it was. We have that Tom maquette that we have
Yeah.
shown pictures of. That was from a contest we did, and we gave away 3 of them and kept one for ourselves. Well, Gil kept it. No, it's okay. He earned it. But that was actually pretty expensive to make, and there hasn't been, we've had various companies come to us with offers way back in the day, like nothing recently. And for whatever reason, it just never came to be. We tried to get it to happen a couple times, but making one is really expensive. Maybe one day you'll see like a limited vinyl type thing. That might be something I'd be into, but we would have to figure out how to fund it.
It would work. It would work.
Yeah. So not for now. Yeah, Kickstarter.
Not an option.
Also, I see a lot of Funimation on Toonami.
Mm-hmm.
How much difficulty is there between getting something like Mirai Nikki, which is Funimation, versus something like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
think is Funimation, and I'm pretty sure Redline, the movie Redline, is not Funimation.
Well, we have pre-existing deals with some distributors, Funimation and Viz. Obviously, we show a lot of their work, and then we do one-off deals with people. The one-off deals are mostly based on situational availability of the show, how flexible they are as far as price, things like that. So I mean, all those shows in Redline are a possibility for sure. But as you can tell from what's on Toonami now, we have a good relationship with certain distributors, and those are the distributors we work with first. But that doesn't mean they would be the only ones. So,
Well, thank you very much.
you're welcome. Man, the lights are so bright up here.
Yeah, right.
I feel like it's crazy. Yeah. There's a sniper in the audience. Now's the time.
Hey, so my question is, what was the turning point for bringing back Toonami? And when you guys did bring it back, did the studio have you guys in like cryo sleep and they just like brought you out ready to make the show? Or some like crazy manhunt around the world for you guys?
It was an action movie montage of getting the band back together. But we were all in the office down the street.
Yeah, you know, when April Fools happened, it was sort of the next day in the office. It was definitely something everybody was talking about, and happily surprised by. And it was like later that week that we had a meeting with Lazo about like
That next day, I think.
yeah, it was sort of okay, so you pulled it off once. You know, if we gave you a little bit of money, could you do it every week? And you know, we basically had to do a little work figuring out what we thought we could do with the money that they were willing to give us, and how often we thought we could update things, and how we would even, you know, update Tom to BHD. There was a whole bunch of considerations, and then how quickly can we do that? But after we spent about a week or two planning it out, and then we felt like we could do it with the money. We just sort of took the chance because we didn't really know, and we knew that it would be asking a lot of Johnny and Sarah because there's less animation, and we would want to do more editing, you know. And we had to call this guy and see if we could be like, hey, you want to do this like all year, but for very, very little money? Not do all the other things you do and do this, and then we won't pay you well. How about it? So, and Steve graciously was totally on board. So once we had all those things in place, it wasn't as hard as we thought it would be. Actually, I would say it's been hard keeping it up. It may disagree. People who actually do shit might not agree. Do you guys think so? I mean, just like, has it been hard for you, like all the extra work for free?
It's been fun. Like, I started working on Toonami, and so it's been great to get back to it and work on all the stuff that I really enjoy, because I've just been doing various Cartoon Network things ever since it's been canceled. It gets tough, but I think it's because I want to try to make something new and not repeat footage, and it's just, we constantly, schedule changes, there's always new things, new episodes to clip, and new ideas to come up with. So it gets a little stressful, but it's fun. I mean, it's worth it for sure, but it's just been like much more grueling than my usual schedule.
It used to be just our full-time job. That was all any of us did was Toonami. Now it just kind of fit in amongst all the other stuff we have to do. But with that comes like a little more freedom, I think, too, because it's just like, get this done and make it good, you know, which is cool, you know. No, but we've been doing it so long. I mean, it's fun though. Yeah, it's fun to be doing it again, honestly.
Thanks for making Toonami.
Thanks for watching Tsunami.
Yes, hello. I have a question that I think would need to be asked, the Spike answer, but is it ever possible in the near future for Cartoon Network to have its own Tsunami block back like before, or is it, no?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
On Cartoon Network proper? No.
No?
Yeah, no, Toonami, I think pretty unequivocally.
We're riding with Adult Swim.
Yeah, like Toonami won't be back in Cartoon Network. It's not that Cartoon Network is like anti-Toonami, but you know, when a network makes a decision to move on from something, I mean, the only reason Toonami came back besides you guys is because Adult Swim is kind of the kind of crazy place that might be like, let's have an April Fool's thing and bring back Toonami. Why the hell not? You know, that's not, I think you would all agree, that's not common among television networks, and that's not something Cartoon Network is really invested in doing. That we don't really fit with the new Cartoon Network, which is fine. We're not, you know, that's nothing against Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network is awesome. But also, now that it's on Adult Swim, they don't like things to cross over between the two because they don't want a lot of young kids watching Adult Swim. And I think if Toonami was on Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, it might be confusing. And you know, ultimately, you don't want a 7-year-old watching Black Dynamite. I think the life lessons taught by Black Dynamite are best absorbed when you're, you know, of age. So yeah, I don't think we'll be back on Cartoon Network.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Okay, I was wondering about the April Fool's episode itself. That was really the big catalyst in bringing back Toonami. Was it really just an April Fool's joke, or was it like a pilot in disguise?
I mean, I think Gil and I certainly, we didn't say it to anyone but ourselves, but we said, okay, we gotta really make this kick ass so that maybe if it works, we can get this to go back on the air. I mean,
The original network ask was, can you dig up a box of your old stuff and we'll run it around these other shows and just pretend like it's a Toonami broadcast? And we said, well, let us just make some stuff and see if we can get Steve and sort of hammer out the night. And then sort of as we started figuring out what that really meant, that was like a 2-minute conversation, and then we realized sort of how much work was going to be involved in it. But
yeah.
then it sort of took on a life of its own. Yeah, to Jason's point, we felt like if we made it work, that it could be a thing. But that wasn't the initial. It was originally just a wouldn't this be stupid kind of thing. And
Yeah, it would be just originally was like a fun April Fool's. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if people turned on Adult Swim and instead it was Toonami, just like it was? You know, that was their original idea, and we wanted to customize it more. And then we told them, well, why don't we show some of the shows that we used to show? Can we reach out to different people? And we sort of made a list of shows, and we saw what was available. And then we said, well, we should record new VO, and then we should do a game review. We should do a new game. And at the time, we were playing Mass Effect 3. So we said, a lot, yeah. So I said, well, I know I can do a review of Mass Effect 3. I'm pretty deep in it right now. And Steve was in the game, so it just like all made sense. You know? We got Grunt, we got Tom. So yeah, that's kind of how it worked out.
And going off from that, just a question about the legalities. How were you able to get just like license those episodes that you showed on April Fools? Just those one episodes of those old shows you can't have anymore.
Favors.
Yeah, they were just the companies were just really.
They were just they just thought it was a good idea, and we're like, okay, we'll do it for one night.
And there wasn't an expectation that it would be beyond that. It was like, oh, have your fun little night.
Yeah, I mean that's why, you know. But that's totally different thing when you go back to them and go, okay, now we want to show it every week. Cool, same deal, free, right? No. Turns out they weren't so into that part. But every show that we showed was free, and it was basically given to us by people who thought it was a cool idea or who were just being nice because they wanted to be nice to us. So
yeah,
it's actually pretty amazing.
And one final thing. It's honestly more of a thank you that Toonami is such a great thing. It's like really one of the biggest not kids anime venues in the US and even beyond that. And one thing I want to thank you for specifically is that Cowboy Bebop is like my favorite thing in the world. And
mine too.
And one thing I loved and respected is that no matter how the lineup changed, that Bebop was kind of always there. And that
many do not agree with you, but yeah.
I don't know. I just love being able to turn on Toonami and eventually just be like, I don't care about any of this. I don't want to be like.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Well, I'm grateful for that.
Chad, do we want to show some of our? Do we want to do some of our announcements?
We can do some of that.
We're about halfway through. I think it's a good time.
So we need to swap to them.
And we'll go back to questions. Yeah, you guys want to hear some news? He's seen it.
I do.
He knows.
I just want to hear it from you.
So we'll wait till the computer's up. Well, while Chad's pulling it up, I'll tell you guys. In April.
Yes.
In April, we will be introducing a new Tom. As well as a new Absolution, the Absolution Mark III. So these are some pictures of the new Tom. And I believe we have a turnaround of Tom 5, a little QuickTime movie of him. But yeah, so that's what he looks like. Look at that dude. Look at that dude. That dude's cute, right? And we will also we'll have a new look. That's the new Absolution. Yeah. It's a little smaller. We wanted to go a little more sleek. The old Absolution, the current one on the air, I would say is the size of a football field, about.
Yeah, a little more.
A little more. And the last Absolution, the very first one, was 2 football fields. This is maybe a half of a football field, so it's still very big.
Jason doesn't play sports, so these numbers aren't necessarily accurate.
Yeah. It's the size of the net on the football field. So this is actually concept art. They're still building this right now. This is an approximation of what it will look like. The Tom that you saw was, you want to pull that guy up again. That's pretty much what Tom is going to look like. So yeah, we wanted to make him we wanted to sort of keep him similar to Tom 3, no face this time. Yeah, I think everyone agrees, no tank engine face. And make him a little darker, make him a little sort of meaner looking. He's got a lot of chrome, he's a little beat up, we've kind of distressed him. And so for those of you who care about continuity, we will be doing an online comic sometime in the next couple months that will tell the whole story of how we got from Tom 3 to Tom 4, Tom 4 to Tom 3.5, and Tom 3.5 to Tom 5. We'll tie it all together. I don't know when that's going to be ready. We're coming up with that story now. And then right now there's a rough version of a new Tsunami logo that we're working on. That's going to be, Toonami changes its look every gosh, I don't remember every year. It used to be every year or every year and a half. So we're doing that again. We're kind of tired of the look we got. And this isn't in any way the final look, but it's just where we're at right now. And I thought I could share it with you guys. So, cool.
Do I have to audition again?
Yes.
We got some news for you, Steve. There's a new voice.
No, Steve is definitely still going to be playing Tom, thank God. There's no way you're doing without Steve.
I think they had to redesign him because I'm more beat up, right?
As Steve gets older, Tom gets older.
Tom's just going to get smaller and crunchier.
So yeah, that'll be sometime in April. We can't give you an exact date because we can't do it till it's right, but it's definitely, our goal is sometime in April. Well, and not April 1st.
No, we can guarantee not April 1st.
Yeah. That's it. And then the other thing we wanted to talk about was for our birthday, which is March 17th. So that night we are going to have a special. We're going to show Evangelion 1.11. You Are Not Alone. So we're gonna have that. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I think that's great, and we've been trying to get it for a while. So that'll be the first movie night. We'll put the full schedule on the Toonami Tumblr, but it'll be like Bleach, Naruto, Evangelion, and then back to the regular scheduled programming. So to you Erica fans, I'm sorry, it's another week. You won't get to see your show, but we promise after that it'll be back. We just thought we could do something special for our birthday. We're also going to have a few other little special things, but we're going to save those for when you actually tune in. Hopefully you'll be tuning in. So that's what we're doing for our birthday. Everybody was asking, and we couldn't talk about it until really now because we literally just got it done. Like it was down to the wire. And then the last announcement is our next show, which we're not sure if it's going to be replacing Tenchi or if it's going to be actually after that, but we did get approval to show One Piece. I
guess we're okay with that.
Yeah, I guess you guys are good with that. So yeah, we can't tell you the exact date. I'm just giving you sort of the, we're all friends here. So just going to share it now. So when we know the air date, we'll let you guys know, of course, as always. It might not be the show replacing Tenchi. That might be a different show, which I think you guys would be excited about, but we're not able to talk about it yet. I know, I'm sorry. I know there are a lot of, we keep hearing from you panning and stocking folks. We're definitely paying attention to everybody who tells us the show they want to hear. So there you go, those are the big announcements. All that stuff will be up on our Tumblr after this panel, so you can go look at it. Steve, what did you think when we showed you the Tom? Were you?
I'm just happy to still be employed. No, I'm all for change, and I love the new look, and I think the timing is right, and the look is awesome. I love the new Tom. I love the new Absolution, and can't wait to get on board.
Cool. Good, because we're going to be working you out.
I'm ready, baby. Bring it.
I guess we can go back to questions now.
I'm crazy nervous right now. I've never been in front of so many awesome people in one go.
We feel
and
the
I've
same
never
way.
done
Exactly.
this before, ever. I'm sort of doing this for a friend. You see, Young Justice ended Saturday morning this week. And he was sort of wondering if maybe, since Toonami is sort of like an adoption thing to him, maybe you guys could adopt Young Justice?
Well, you know,
Because it had a super unsatisfying ending. I don't even watch the show, but I like woke up and it was on, so I just watched it. And then I go on Facebook and he says that was the last episode. Wow, that's really unsatisfying. I feel bad for those fans.
yeah, I feel bad for those fans too, because I think that the ending it wasn't really an ending. Yeah. That one's more complicated because it's DC, and that whole relationship is not something that makes it easy for us to show that show. So I don't think that show would make it on Toonami. We do like that show a lot. We think it's a great show. But for various reasons, I don't think it would make it on Toonami. So I don't think we're able to do for that what we did for Symbionic or Thundercats, unfortunately. So I apologize on behalf of Toonami and to your friend.
Thank you.
It's a great show, though.
And you guys are awesome. That one fall down like 7 times and get up 8 thing was like the best thing ever, and it really helped.
That guy wrote that. Those guys cut that.
You guys are great.
Thank you.
That's actually what I was going to talk about. When I growing up with Toonami, the thing that made it more than just a series of cartoons, more than just an awesome block, was Tom's speeches. The things that took all of the arguments from all the different animes and just put them together, and really just, as a kid growing up, it was like a role model, something to base yourself off of. Like, I know for a fact my girlfriend, basically, she is who she is because of Sailor Moon.
Wow. Me too.
I just want to ask, how did you guys come up with that, and how did you feel about writing them and actually saying them? Because, did you just have a blank of time, and you're like, what can we fill that with? Oh, I don't know, epic speeches.
That started because, when Toonami was in its younger days, there was a lot, Cartoon Network is a bigger business now, so there's many more actual commercials on air, because more people are watching and they have to make money. But early in Toonami's life, there was a lot more time to fill, so it was basically Gil's job and my job and other people's job to fill that time however we could think of. And pretty early on, I suggested to Sean, we show these shows to kids, we should do something where we tell them something that they might learn from, so we're not just literally shoveling violence in their face, and there's no upside. We're not teaching them anything, and Sean agreed, and then Gil and I pretty much wrote all of those, the original ones, and when we came back, it was just sort of, well, look at the things we've done in the past. We did music videos, we did long epic promos, we did game reviews. And this was one other thing, and we took it very seriously because we have heard through the years from many people like yourself that, thankfully were really affected by those. So we take those actually probably more serious than anything we do for Toonami. So we approach those very carefully. We try not to tread the same water too much, tread the same ground too much, or the same water. And then in the case of the most recent ones written by Gil, that's just stuff that was on Gil's mind. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to put one new thing on a week. That was sort of the plan for the new Toonami, and then those take probably the most time, those in the music videos. The game reviews are probably the least amount of time, not that it's nothing.
Playing the game takes a while, but making
But yeah,
the
actually constructing the game reviews is relatively fast. But the speeches we definitely wanted to do, but yeah, you just don't want to, of all the things that you write, that's what you want to actually make sure is is this too much? Is this not saying anything? That sort of, so it's finding that line, and then just sort of whatever you're feeling at the moment, and then also what the shows we have on, what they're saying. So it's as these guys are watching shows and they're pulling out chunks, then you can just sort of see like the themes and like I want to say this is there's something that would support that, so it's definitely a collaborative effort to try to figure out like can the story that I want to tell actually be told, and that's sort of getting it together.
The last thing that I cut, I've just been probably over the past like 6 weeks, is as I watch episodes and clip them, I'll find like really neat sound bites and I'll mark them to be like, all right, I'm gonna use you later down the road. And I've got them all different colors for like more action-based, more kind of inspirational. And then just have been slowly like we had a slow week, and I was like, oh, I have something I've been working on, and just got a chance to kind of finally make it into something. But they're just tons of fun. They're definitely a lot more work. And you want to make them as good as you possibly can, but they're definitely like the shining points. The promos are all right, but it's fun to make something that you hope people will appreciate and take to heart.
Yeah, we take the responsibility of those very seriously because we've heard a lot of people tell us, how that those have affected them, and we try to approach that with the degree of seriousness that it merits. So
It's the most gratifying things for me to record too. I get a lot of feedback from those too, and it's amazing that how people tell us these profound things are happening in their life, and sometimes very traumatic things are happening in their life, and these little speeches help get them through that, and that kind of gives me purpose to do this in the first place.
Yeah.
So
that's why
I'm so grateful that these guys are going to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello.
Sorry.
That's okay. Take your time.
We can't see you guys, by the way, so.
Yeah, don't worry, we can't
No
even see it.
idea.
I'm not
All we
going
see are lights and
Shadows
heads.
in the night.
Yeah.
When Yu Yu Hakusho was on Toonami, it's what kind of made me want to get into martial arts, and I'm actually a black belt in Taekwondo now.
Nice.
So Yu Yu Hakusho,
Don't kick our butts.
Hakusho's the entire reason that happened. But my question is, how do you come up with the concepts for the A and Bs that you make? I really like the one that was on last night, and I was just wondering how you decide what music or what quotes from different shows and which clips. How does the concept work with that show?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been slowly, I'll have like pages where I'll write down notes from various shows. It just builds, you hear some really great quote and you think, oh, that's a great quote, that would work well against something from another show. And it just takes time to kind of create it. The music, we have thousands of tracks to choose from, and you just kind of pick something that feels like it fits the mood and run it by these guys, and it's a very organic process.
Yeah, Sarah knows Sarah and Johnny are the people who work day to day with the shows, and they know the clips, and they will definitely, they'll pull together everything, and a lot of the times, in a perfect world for me, because I'm lazy as hell, it's Gil and I will get to just look at it and give comments and guide it sort of in a direction, it's like, well, with that music, it feels a little too serious, how about this track, we just kind of guide it along, and then we give it to our awesome audio guy who's in the audience, but I'm not going to tell you where because he'll kill me. Brent, he's somewhere among you. He mixes all the stuff and makes it kick-ass, which is also an important part. And then Gil and I just kind of, ideally, we're just overseeing. But a lot of the core ideas of the, how these cuts flow and everything come from those two guys. Yeah.
Having a fanboy moment here.
And I'll let the next person go. But if you ever get Yu Yu Hakusho on the show again, I don't actually get Cartoon Network at my home anymore, but I will find someone who does and bully them into letting me watch the TV at night if you get Yu Yu Hakusho on.
Got it. Keep that in mind.
I like Geek-E, that was a fun show.
Hey guys, first of all, I just want to thank all of you for bringing back what was a very big part of my childhood. Toonami. Thank you. Toonami has gotten me through some really lonely and depressing times in my life. And shows like Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, Dead Man Wonderland, Big O, all of those, they were always there for me. Toonami was there for me. My question, so from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank all of you for bringing it back.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. A question, I actually had a question for Steve about the end of Bebop, but I don't want to ruin it for everyone here. So, could I come ask you after the panel, or?
Sure.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Okay, my question was, what was the most difficult obstacle you guys had to get over to bring the show back?
Honestly, it was money. I mean, you know, the Toonami at its height, I can't tell you exactly how much, but it was a pretty large staff. You know, we had 5 at one point guys who worked on CG and concept. We had a staff concept designer who was amazing, and then so Toonami cost a lot of money when it was a big going concern. So the biggest challenge for us was convincing Adult Swim to give us enough money to make it work, but figure out how little money that could be. That was actually the hardest part, was figuring out, okay, that we can't have Clyde's, we can't have Sarah. Maybe we will eventually, but for now we gotta just strip it down. And that was actually the hardest part, because once you guys responded so in such a huge way to April Fools, no one was saying, does anyone really care about this? Like, we never had to have that conversation, thank God. It was like, okay, obviously people want it, so can you do it for the budget we have to give you? And that was really for Gil and I to just work out with everybody on the team, because we all realized it would mean adding another full-time job that we're not going to get paid for. Because if we got paid for it, then there wouldn't be money to make things or pay that guy. So, we need him, we need CG, and their skills are valuable, and we can't not pay them. So we just turns out, unfortunately, Steve's got to eat whatever. So we just had to make that decision that okay, we're going to be working a lot harder, but hopefully it'll be worth it, and it has, thanks to people like you. So thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. My question has to do with the long-term lineup. Future-wise, are you going to focus more on anime, or are you going to look into American cartoons more? I'm just wondering.
We never ever would not want. We're always looking at American cartoons. The problem is there are less of them than ever, I think, and a lot of them are on our direct competition. So, say, using Motor City as an example, I like Motor City. We love those guys. If someone said, "Could you put that on Toonami?" I would totally put that on Toonami. But if we go to Disney and say, "Can we have your show and put it on our thing?" They'll say no, just because we're competition. So. It's tough. I'd say that there's less action cartoons out in the world than probably ever before. I'm not sure why. So we are definitely going to be looking for American action cartoons to mix it up, or Canadian, or whatever. Anything. I don't necessarily want Toonami to be all anime. That's not sort of where we're not what we ever wanted. But it just so happens that the market is looking pretty grim for American action animation that might be available to us. It's out there, but most of the time it's the hub owns it, or Disney owns it, or our competition will have it. So we're gonna try.
One more side question. Can Samurai Champloo ever be a possibility?
Yeah, sure, it's a possibility, of course. Yep.
Hello. Hello. I have 2 questions. The first question for Steve.
Yes.
What made personally for you Tom so much fun to voice?
Oh man. Well, the heart behind him, I think. I mean, the passion that you see from these guys is infectious, and it's real. And even though my recording with them takes place over the phone, I'm in LA, they're here. I can feel the passion. I mean, sometimes we're sleepy, we're bitter, we're just tired and cranky. But I mean that the essence of Toonami is really about you guys, and we're fans too, and that's what translates across for me, and that's what inspires me to want to do the best job I can with Tom. And he looks awesome, and it's just something different. It's a different part of my career that I'm really, really close to.
And my other question is there any chance at all for Symbionic Time to get a second season? Because that show is awesome.
We agree. It's awesome. We don't control or have any idea about whether or not we get a second season. I do think that people have noticed that, it's doing well on Toonami, but I don't know that, we don't know enough about the inner mechanics of that deal or how Gendy might feel or any of those things. So unfortunately, we don't really have those answers.
I would say it's definitely, there's a chance, but just because we haven't heard categorically no, but that we have no real idea.
Yeah, we're just gonna show it and hope people keep
Hopefully.
watching it, and maybe that builds more steam. It certainly built a lot of steam, and I would just suggest to anybody that wants Symbionic back or Thundercats or any other show we get asked about, talk to Cartoon Network, get more people to talk to Cartoon Network. If enough people demand something, they will bring it back. Yeah, there you go. So if enough people demand it, it'll come back. But as far as us, we don't have any more detail. Shockingly, though we work with the network, we don't know any more than the average person.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello.
I just thought of something because you said you guys had like a special event happening on your birthday. For all the classics like Rurouni Kenshin, Samurai Jack would be cool, and maybe Hakusho. Like, why can't you do kind of like a surprise attack like you did on April Fools?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's because now Toonami's on every week, and now we can't make the same argument we would make to someone like Funimation to give us a show very cheaply or free because it was a one-time special event. Now they know it's on every week, and they know that we are paying some people for their shows, and so they're going to say, why should we do that, and they might be well within their rights. And as far as Samurai Jack,
And isn't he, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Isn't he the person who did Samurai Atomics?
Gendy?
I think so, along with Powerpuff Girls?
Yep. Gendy and Craig and Gendy did Powerpuff and Dexter together, and then Gendy did Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack, basically, if it's on Cartoon Network or Boomerang, we can't really show it on Toonami on Adult Swim because, again, they don't want kids watching Boomerang and seeing the same show that is on Adult Swim and possibly mom gets mad, So if Samurai Jack were to ever come completely off of other Cartoon Networks, then it's a possibility for Toonami for sure. And it's a show that wouldn't cost us any money to show and that we love. So I wouldn't say it would never come on, but that's why it's not on now. So yeah, it's sort of, you should look at April Fools as lightning in a bottle. And now we're in a different scenario, which is we're on every week, so we can't do the charity thing because these guys know that we're paying some people, people are advertising on Toonami, and there is some money being made, but we don't have enough to pay for some of those shows that you're talking about. So I wouldn't say none of them would ever come, but not the same way April Fools happened.
Okay. It's not really exactly, well, one part of it is a question. It's just, I really like the promos and the music videos. I know Part in Our Dust was really great. There was another one, I can't remember the name, but it was like, started out with space and then, it's just, no, it was so great. And it's like, it really does resonate with a lot of people, like a lot of other people in front of me have said. It's so awesome. And my last question is, there was this promo that you guys did for Yu Yu Hakusho. It's like when Tom sat in a chair and then he pressed his buttons and then you could see like little preview of it on the screen. It was way back when. It was when Yusuke was about to fight a demon and then it was like, they thought it was a chick and he's like, I'll fight you. And then like Kuwabara was like, you're a Meshi. I can't find it online anywhere. And I was hoping maybe you guys still have the clip somewhere.
Oh, we don't.
We don't have one.
Really? I'd love to have that one because like somebody online has all your promos and all your, I know, it's like.
No, we just so you know how we work, we go, when half the time we don't even remember or have it because that's just, when we do now sort of save things, but back in the day, we were making things every single week, and you just had no time. And we also didn't know people cared that much, so we didn't archive stuff because, fundamentally we're making packaging and commercials. And if you know anything about that business, nobody saves it's very rare that you would save your bump from that episode of Parks and Rec. If you're working at NBC, you're not like, oh, I need to preserve my bumps. So it was just not something we even thought about. So actually now, when Gil and I are like, did we do? We go to the various Toonami fan sites or YouTube to find the things we did. So we would just say
all the time.
Yeah, we would just say if anybody wants to upload old stuff of ours, please keep doing it. We love it. It's helped us out. It helps us now because we can go back and look at something and know what we had Steve say and go, oh, he already said that 10 years ago, so we can't repeat that one.
They can't count on me for remembering anything.
So.
Well, just wanted to thank you for, again, being part of my childhood, and thanks, Steve, for being Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you've grown up beautifully.
You're just talking about uploading things. This whole panel will be on Toonami Faithful later today, so you can spread it and share it and remember the good times we've had.
Yeah, baby.
Hi, I actually run a convention at our university in Logan, Tennessee, and we planned it about 8 months in advance for our first one. It just happened to coincide with the return of Toonami, so it was a great promotional tool for us. We actually run five Toonami panels at MTAC and various other conventions. And we're actually going to host one on March 17th, so you gave us a lot of great stuff to talk about. We're calling it Toonami Full Circle.
Cool.
So just plugging it. And we have a cool we made a poster for our Toonami MTAC panel. And
Cool.
If you guys would sign it, that'd be awesome.
Cool.
We're going to give it away as a prize to people who come to our panel. But my question is, when you guys started back in the beginning, did you guys have top-of-the-line stuff? Or did you have to work up to it? Did you have to prove that you guys were worth the equipment? Or how'd that work?
Gear-wise, you mean?
Well, and personnel, I guess. Because you said you had a full-time...
in the
designer.
beginning we definitely weren't as fully staffed as we were at the height. Gear-wise, we had an Avid that was sort of, we were renting to own Remco style. That's sort of the way the finances worked then. But
It's on layaway.
we made our payments on time, and they finally gave it to us. But yeah, so we were on Avid for a long time, and then we've been on Final Cut for
3.5 years?
yeah. So gear-wise, we always had pretty solid equipment. Personnel, it took a while to get the network convinced to have everyone on staff.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
Getting a little nervous here. Okay, so as we all know, before y'all returned, Adult Swim usually had their April Fool's pranks, show in the room, and then you guys, this year, y'all surprised us. Is there any chance, like this year, as an April Fool's joke, maybe we might get a little role reversal, maybe, I don't know, Tom Rick's on the room or something like that?
Well, Adult Swim always does something for April Fools. That's a tradition. This year, April Fools does not fall on the night that Toonami would air, so it's not going to involve Toonami. It's going to be its own thing, but they're definitely, as with every year, they've got plans to do something that will, I think, be hilarious. We'll see if anyone else agrees.
I'll do a role reversal, but it'll be in the privacy of my own house.
Okay.
Mega Steve hits the air.
Okay. Second question. A while back during the announcement for the new Tom and the new Absolution, you mentioned that you guys were going to do an online comic. Why not do it as like a week-long event like you did before when Tom was turning into a Tom 2?
Well, that's easy. No money. It's very easy. To do it as a week-long event means upwards of $500,000, which is well more than our entire budget for the year. We're not operating at the same level. And a comic is much, much cheaper, but you can still tell the story, and I still think it would be a cool thing, and we've done, you know, a couple different comics over the years that still are floating around out there, and we had really good experiences doing, you know, comics. So we're excited to, you know, I think we can really tell an actual full-length story with a comic, whereas really all we could afford now is literally Tom being like, "What's up?" You know.
Okay, last question, I promise. This one's for Steve.
Yes.
It's kind of more of a request, and I probably should have. It's my fault for like not waking up early and doing this at the autograph signing. A girl in white earlier, like during the last hour before you had to leave.
Yes.
She asked you to sign the little pamphlet for me. You wrote "Stay Gold Bang." And,
Yes.
And I really wanted a picture because my brother is a even bigger Toonami fan, and I kind of wanted a picture with you because I just want to rub it in his face. So maybe after the panel.
After the panel, sure.
A pure request.
Thank you, Pablo.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah, we're in the last little bit of the panel, so just quick questions. They'll be doing signings and all afterwards. You can
Yeah, I just want to say before we do some last few questions that there are underneath 3 chairs in the room are postcards, Toonami postcards from back in the day. So if you are the holder of the golden ticket, after the panel, come up to us and we have bags of Toonami swag for you.
And don't kill each other.
We'll also have some old Toonami postcards to give to whoever walks up. You know, we don't have that many, but we're happy to give them to you guys.
They're not way back there. So don't.
They're more in the
don't
front
start
area.
First few rows.
Yeah.
Setting the room on fire.
Yeah.
In the first, like,
We didn't know how many people we'd have, so we kind of had to stick to the front of the room. So sorry to you folks in the back of the room. Nothing personal.
Hi.
You've exceeded our expectations. Thank you very much.
Out of all the shows that you have on the air, all of you, which one would you say is your favorite?
Well, Steve, do you have a favorite?
I don't like to play favorites.
I know you don't.
That would be fun.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely, of the shows we have on the air, it's definitely Bebop.
Yeah, of the new shows that we've had before, I think Deadman and Soul Eater would probably be my favorite. But Bebop's definitely my favorite show that we've had on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All time I'd say Bebop or DBZ. Now it's Deadman.
All time, I don't know. But when I was growing up, Thundercats was my very favorite show ever. And so when it came back, I was excited, and I instantly started lobbying, because it originally was on Cartoon Network. I instantly started lobbying to work on the launch. And so it's my guilty pleasure now that it's on. So, Thundercats.
What's your opinion on Bebop?
My opinion?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bebop's great. I mean,
Whatever.
all my promos are very heavy Bebop because it's
Sarah
a great
is-
show, beautiful show.
Little Sarah background, she's a cat person.
Yeah.
It's a show about cats. It's kind of a win-win for her.
Yeah. Okay, great talking to you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan.
Hi, Dan.
I missed Steve's signings like last 3 times.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah. I was just wondering if I could get like a whole group photo after the panel. But my first question is on Tom 4. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this, but I wanted to hear from you. What was the thought process with the Tom 4 and then D and Flash?
Sure, that's a great question. Well, Tom 4 started because Sean Akins, not to lay blame, but Sean Akins was like, I want Tom to have a face. And Gil and I pretty much were like, that's a terrible idea. But Sean...
Based on how we made the block, like just getting that much new animation to keep going forward.
Right. We didn't think it was a terrible idea to have a face. We didn't know. We thought that was interesting. We just thought that it would be really hard to pull off. But Sean was interested in pushing Toonami forward and having us try new things, and I think that's very admirable. He also felt like, we were getting a lot of feedback from the network that Toonami was skewing too old. So we were asked, can you make him not quite so like, manly? So we thought, okay, well he started off as like a little guy, so let's bring him back to the little guy thing. And then it was sort of my idea, like, let's fill this room with more people than just Tom and Sarah. Like, let's have a crew of little guys, and they can all talk, and one guy can do the game reviews, and one guy can be sort of like, different. I always thought that it worked very well to have different personalities playing off of each other. And that part I still feel was really good. And I even think the animation looked beautiful. Like, I think if you look at that animation, that was all rendered in RenderMan, and that stuff looks as good as any CG has looked on television, at least, especially for that era. But, we were always, Gil and I anyway, we were all kind of a little ambivalent about the face. And we knew when we came back that, first of all, we couldn't afford to do facial animation now. There's no way. But we also just thought it looked cooler, to be Master Chief style. You just don't see what's behind the helmet. So that's the answer to how that happened. Thank you. You're welcome. Hello.
It's cool that your birthday is on the 17th because my birthday is on the 15th.
Awesome.
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Coming up.
And I just want to know, like, if the new Sailor Moon that's coming out this year, can you put it on Toonami?
Well, that's something we're going to look at. I don't know yet. I can't tell you yes or no. I can't tell you yes or no, but I will say, just like anything else, we're looking at it, and it's a possibility.
Cool. And I have something for Steve.
Aww. Okay. Yeah. Come on.
Careful.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. Says stay gold. So I think, probably like 2 more questions? Yes. Sorry. We'll hang around a little after. There's always the Tumblr too. There's always toonami.tumblr.com. If you're not on Tumblr, you can still just anonymously ask me a question. Just be nice.
She called me awesome sauce. That's my favorite kind of sauce.
Awesome sauce.
I recognize you.
Somebody ended up taking my question, so I just wanted to thank you guys for bringing Toonami back. My favorite show was Dragon Ball Z growing up. I used to think screaming Kamehameha would actually let me make a Kamehameha wish when I was a kid. I actually have a question for Steve.
Yes.
I've missed every opportunity to do a sign. I just want to know if I can come up and shake your hand. Is that okay?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Come on up. Yeah, don't fall. You can say I'm on YouTube.
And I think our last question of the day we can take.
How lucky am I? Okay, I want to, like the past few other people, I want to thank you so much for being a part of my childhood. I doubt I would be at this convention if Toonami hadn't been around as a kid. Thank you. Thank you. I got half of this list. And, oh man, there's so many questions. I gotta choose one. Okay. I'll go with, I really like Sarah, like Tom and Sarah's banter. I like the idea of there being more people, but I think the best thing you guys had was Tom and Sarah, especially like when you did the Morrowind review. That I love that, and I love how Tom.
A lot of people like that.
Loving Skyrim.
Yeah, I want a little backstory on that one. This guy here, he loves Skyrim now, but back when Morrowind was out, he wasn't super into it because Morrowind didn't quite look as good. So that review was really written based around Tom's objections to Morrowind were really Gil, and I was writing the Sarah point of view, which is funny because people are like, Tom really hated Morrowind, now he suddenly likes it. Now he likes Skyrim all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was my fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I loved it, which is why we did a review of it, because I thought, well, wouldn't it be funny if Tom thought something was bull and Sarah was way into it, you know. And we do miss that dynamic, and I totally appreciate when people say that Toonami feels a little quiet now. I don't necessarily mind that it feels quiet, but I totally see that, you know, what people might miss about the Tom and Sarah dynamic, and we do hope to try to get Sarah back on. It's just a matter, we don't want to do anything if it's not done right. So Sarah has to look good and fit in and work, and that's more complicated when your budget is stretched thin. We're doing better though. We're getting more money, so everything's, you know, we're just rebuilding. So I hope to bring Sarah back because I do think Tom and Sarah are a good combo.
If anybody, her, please. And my other question was, how did the name Toonami come to be, if you remember back then?
Sure. Sean was asked to come up with names for this cartoon block. He cut a video with an editor friend of ours who now runs the Adult Swim Bumps, and it was like a proof of concept, and it was a lot of like Spawn comics and kids skating and like bootlegged anime that we just threw into this thing. You know, he made it, and it was sort of like, it's gonna be like this, and the network was like, what the hell are you talking about? So Lazo believed in it though. Lazo believed in Sean really and said, okay, you're crazy. I'll give you some time to do this. It's gonna be better than what's on now. And so Sean, I was working at the time as a freelancer at TNT cutting promos. And I would go downstairs to Cartoon Network with Sean and we would just think of names. So we just had a list of like 40 different names, and that was the one name. We all felt good about it. I think that it was sort of the obvious choice, but we all felt good about it, and when Sean took Sean out of that list of 40, he gave like 10 of them to Lazo, and Lazo felt like immediately that one made the most sense. But just, you know, the idea of like, you know, cartoon Tsunami, like it just made sense to us. You know, we didn't necessarily think we were going to show all anime. We just thought, whoa, what a cool, you know, that's a cool visual idea. Turns out we were right.
Thank you
Got
so
lucky.
much.
Yeah.
Can I shake your hand too?
Of course.
Awesome.
Nice, look at that technique. Beautiful.
I guess we can do one more. We can do one more. It's 12:42.
First of all, I'd like to thank y'all for bringing Toonami back. Everyone in here is probably here in some relation due to Toonami.
Thank you. We're glad.
Can I have one quick one and a little bit longer question? You said that you have a good relationship with Viz. Do you think Tiny Bunny would be a possibility in the future?
I can't talk about what might be coming, but we definitely have a good relationship with them, and I would say if you want that show, tell your friends to keep bugging us on Tumblr. The more we hear people want a show, then that gives us a better idea of whether or not we're picking the right thing when we talk to a distributor. So, you know, just keep asking.
And the other part was, a lot of people want to know if you're interested in putting some of the older shows on the air again. What would they be?
I mean, you know, obviously if Dragon Ball Z wasn't on Nickelodeon, then we would be interested in Dragon Ball Z. That would be one. It counts. So, you know, it sort of depends on how much they cost and what they are and all that, but generally, we don't have a lot of money, and we need to spend that money on shows we know people will watch. But then again, something might come up, like Inuyasha is a good example, that just happened to work out, you know, so we would never say no, absolutely not, because the 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. hour is it's sort of low stakes there. We can kind of more do what we want there, not, you know, within reason. So I would never say never, but it would have to just be that right confluence of events where if the price is right and it was popular enough that we thought people would watch it at, you know, 4 a.m. So, there you go.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All awesome.
Thank you. So that's about it. Whoever has your golden ticket, you can come up to the panel and we'll give you the things, and then we'll hang out for a little bit if you guys want to just say hi.
And I just want to say thank you to you guys for putting such amazing words in my mouth and making it all look so cool for so many years. And special shout out to Sean Akins and to Dennis Maloney.
Yeah, Big D money.
Yeah.
Chris Hartley and Brent Busby, who may or may not still be here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yo, this is Steve Bloom, the voice of Tom, and I endorse this message. Kadesh Flow and Richie Branson. Oh yeah. You better believe Toonami's back, bitches. Only Toonami. Bang.
As I gaze up on the beautiful abyss of outer space, I can't help but reminisce on how we held on to our faith. Gold is how we stayed till the day that time would say that Toonami's back, bitches. Pardon my Francais.